What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fever Castles. Today we're going to start off with Exodus. Castle levels of 19. So let's jump into it on my archer and take a look at what he's got.
School's in session.
Alright, so it looks like that's probably the correct way to go, but let's just see what's over on this side. I'm guessing there probably is a mine here. There is. Okay. Alright, so I didn't really take all that much damage there because I had my block buff on. But I think that's an okay way of using flare traps. I mean, you're not committing a ton to it, although you are committing a bunch of jelly wells to it. I think maybe you could get, a few points less out of there. I don't know if having, an extra jelly wall or extra 2 jelly wells really adds all that much to the difficulty, because I'm never going to walk through this one. I'm never going to walk straight through like this, so.
I know it's in the middle of something.
Alright. So lots of jelly walls, lots of
Say goodnight, mister.
lots of ballista traps. Because there's not all that many creatures and it's only kind of a boss room with everything else in it, I really feel like just going straight to the end here is the correct way to go. And then I can just use a potion. And I can use potions pretty sparingly because I only have to kill off this group, and then I make it through. So I think maybe if you could find a way of splitting up your mob groups so that at least you have one a little bit closer to the beginning of your castle. Even putting in just 1 or 2 units makes it a little bit more difficult because it forces people to think about if they want to continue to go forward or try to fight around where you have all of those traps. It makes all of those traps a little bit more effective because they may take a little bit of extra damage. I'm not sure exactly what your idea is with these fire mines, though. I don't see many people going over into these corners and actually getting hit by these. There's nothing really to force them out. A lot of people are just going to roll through this one and then just continue onwards towards the back of your boss room where there's no trap pressure. So something to think about. I think putting all of your mobs in the boss room doesn't really work anymore. And the beginning is good, but it's a lot of, I think, wasted points. I think you could, get a similar setup with less points, like those extra jelly walls and stuff. Nobody's going to walk through all of them. So you could, take those out and have a few extra defense points, maybe like 20 more to work with. But yeah, we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have Nate Bird. Castle level is 21. Let's take a look at it.
Hope you don't mind a little friendly visit.
Alright. So it looks like this is maybe just a dead end. There might be a mine here, there might not be. Alright, there's no mine here. So a lot of people who explore people's entire castles for that extra star, they'll either not complete it in time and have to restart it to get all 3 stars, or they might be able to catch back up or something. But it's something that you can do to force people to have to run your castle 1 extra time or take 1 less star if you put in just a room on the one side of it. The only problem with that is if they can pull your mobs back and kite through that area where you don't have anything there. Alright, so there are some spike traps here. It doesn't really look like it's leading into fire mines, so I don't think I have a risk of death. But I can try to kite across these because I need to get better at doing this. And then do that. Alright. I like the Cyclops and everything. The only thing I don't like about it is that, you notice how if I would have gotten pushed just slightly behind this wall, your Zeke would have had to round the corner. So I'm wondering if maybe your start point for your Zeke, if you could have him, somewhere farther off, like up in here or something, so he's a better angle when he's coming down, and maybe he can shoot into the room a little bit better. If you have him starting over here, he has to kind of walk up to this wall in order to actually shoot down in these areas here. So it might be a little bit better to change his angle slightly. Although at that same point, you might be able to spot him a little bit easier if he's out over in here. If I'm coming up, I'll be able to spot this area a lot easier than if he's behind the wall. So I guess it's kind of up to you, which you like to do, which you would prefer. But his angle's not really ideal right now. That's actually kind of cool. That was like exactly where I wanted to jump to. Oh, and you have a spike trap under the carpet. I like that thing as well. That's always pretty neat. Alright, just one archer. No big deal. Quite a bit of traps here. I think this will be better at level 24 once you get the extra spike. Alright, that's pretty good. This one I like much better than your last. And since I already aggroed the boss room, I'm going to see if I can just kind of get to the safe zone. I'm going to use a potion kind of sparingly here and just dodge these Zeke shots. There's no traps back here, so it's pretty easy to fight it. But yeah, I like your second Cyclops pull a lot more because the Zeke is more in line with everything else. He can fire all the way inside of the room very easily. So even once the Cyclops pushes you back, you can still be in line for his shot. So yeah, I think your castle will get a lot better at level 24 once those spike traps start to get their third active panel, since you have quite a few of them in your castle. But yeah, pretty good. We'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have Zack YouTube. Castle level is a 17. So let's take a look.
Those monsters won't know what hit them.
This mouse wheel, I can kind of see what you're going for because there's a spike trap here, but it's pretty easy to just walk through it anyway. And even if I do get hit by the spike trap, I'm kind of wondering if it does anything. You know, there's no damage here for the spike trap, so there's not really any opportunity to really do any significant damage here. Like, the best you could hope for is maybe if I get pushed onto the spike trap or something on a weird angle, but those two things aren't really going to work all that well. Unless you put something around them, like a couple ballista traps or something, maybe then they'd be a little bit better. And we've got a fire mine set up right here. You do have a couple springboard traps, which I find actually kind of cool. Let's see which way they push you, just back. But that's pretty cool. The only problem is I think I can build up some stun immunity by just standing on these. And by building up this stun immunity, after a second I'll be able to just jump onto this one. And, you know, I'll basically have enough stun immunity where I'll be able to get away even if I get thrown by this. So that's the main issue with having something that stuns you on the backside here, is if you keep jumping on it, your character will slowly build up this stun immunity. That's not really shown or, you know, talked about anywhere, but you build up some stun immunity and you start to get up quicker and quicker and quicker. And then once you actually do get thrown on top of this, I just get up really quick and I'm able to leap off of the fire mines before they go off. So that's something to keep in mind. The same reason why I don't really like your first two springboard traps on the actual bridge were pushing you back towards this way. They were like throwing you back here, and I can do the same thing. I can keep leaping on these until I build up some stun immunity, and then I can go on these, and I won't ever trip on those fire mines and get killed. So I'm gonna see if it's the same way with this first mine, which might actually get me killed if it's not, but it is. So it throws you back this way, and I can just keep launching on this, and you'll see I slowly get up faster and faster. Each time I get thrown by this, I'm getting up faster and faster. And then, you know, I'll do it one more time, and then I'll go straight on. And even when I get pushed, I can just leap off of them like that. So that's the whole purpose why you don't want springboard traps that throw you back this way. You want them all to be throwing you towards the fire mines, or else people will do that. That, you know how to abuse the stun immunity change a couple patches ago. And then there's some sort of a problem here. I'm not sure if maybe... I think I aggroed your Snottingham using the Robo Shieldatron, and because of that, since the Snottingham was already aggroed, when I attacked him, he didn't aggro these two archers. So you'll either want to change this room so that it's a choke, or move your Snottingham farther up, you know, as far as you possibly can. Because the castle that I had before, I used this room before my boss room, my level 22 castle, and what I did is I just had a ton of trap pressure so that it kept people moving, so they couldn't just stand here and pick off my Snottingham. I also had my Snottingham as far forward as I could, so that he kind of aggroed like right across this area here, and then I just had, you know, silences and ballista traps on this side, so that it kept people moving, and then they accidentally aggro the boss room, and they have to fight that while being in that, you know, high pressure zone. I will also say that, like, you have a bunch of ballista traps here, but you don't have anything in this room, so being able to aggro this and then fight it in this kind of trap-free zone is really good for me. You want to have like trap pressure as much as possible when you're fighting fighting units, or else it's pretty easy to dodge off all of their attacks. Alright,
Wow. This door
so that was number 3. So we are going to end this video here. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. I'm getting a ton of requests for viewer castles over the last week. I haven't updated my my list as of right now, but probably once this video goes live, it will be updated. But I have literally a ton of castles to run, so I will try to get at least 2 a day going. You know, sometime in the next day or two, I'll try to record a ton of them so that I can get 2 a day going for viewer castles, so I can get a little bit caught up. But currently, I have probably like 20 viewer castle episodes that need to come out, so it's going to take a little bit for new requests to actually go through and start to be recorded. So keep that in mind. But I'm taking everything level 16 and above for viewer castles, so you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com if you want to do that. It'll probably take me a week or 2 weeks to actually get to your request, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.